Members, as you come in, please go ahead and sign in to the voting machines. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Wednesday, February the 11th, 2026. I hereby call state and local government to order. Members, if you'll please go ahead and sign into your voting machines. I'll give you just a second. Madam Clerk, please open the board for roll call. Madam Clerk, go ahead and close the board and announce the members present.
Mr. Chair, you have 16 members present. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Do any of the members have any announcements or personal orders? Seeing none, we have 11 bills, 11 items on the calendar today, followed by a presentation from the University of Tennessee, the Institute of Public Service. So if you will, let's go ahead and call up item number 1, House Joint Resolution 079 by Leader. Proper motion and second. Leader Lamberth, you're recognized on your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Very simple and straightforward. The same resolution that we actually passed through all the way to finance a couple of years ago to move the elections instead of May, August to be August, November for the county elections. This would be the first time through. And if it were to pass a majority of this legislature, then it would go to the next legislative session, which would be next year, the 115th. And if it were to pass with a 2/3 vote, then it would be on the 2030 ballot. I stand ready for questions, Mr. Chairman.
You've heard the explanation of the sponsor on House Joint Resolution 0729. Is there any questions for the sponsor? Representative McCalman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Leader Lambert, thank you for bringing this. I think it will streamline our elections and clear up a lot of confusion. I know that when I was first running, I would go canvass and people say, I already voted. I said, oh, no, you haven't voted yet. So appreciate you bringing this. I think it cleans it up. So thanks.
Next on the list is Representative Martin.
Thank you, Leader Lamberth, for this bill. My question is this. Has there been any study as to the amount of money that taxpayers will save by consolidating these election times?
Leader Lamberth.
So I'll always have to answer a fiscal question with a fiscal note. And so I trust our fiscal department to analyze these in an objective fashion. It says not significant. Now, I will admit that was a little confusing to me because this cuts out, I mean, it's May, August, November right now, and it would shift the May to August. And so all of your primaries would be in August, all of your generals would be in November. So I can't see how that wouldn't save money, but the fiscal note says not significant. I've got to stick with what they have there. And maybe they just didn't necessarily look at what the local fiscal impact would be. To the state, it's definitely not significant. I mean, these elections are paid for, those primaries at the local level. But again, there won't be an election, a primary in May, it would be in August. And we assist with those type of expenses. So it says not significant, but maybe off the page, there are definitely some savings to the local government.
Representative Martin.
And I would imagine, Leader Lamberth, that not significant has to do with state money. But my question really is, do you know if there is a way that the election commissions or the Secretary of State has come up with what kind of money that people in counties across the state of Tennessee would be saving? And if you don't have that information now, I get it, but I think it would be wise for us at some point to be able to say, hey, if we do this, it's not going to make a difference in the Tennessee budget, but it is going to make a difference in Hamilton County's election budget. And I'd like to know at some point what that is. I'm in favor of your bill. I just wonder if you had that kind of information yet.
Leader Lamberth.
I don't have it. When I leave here, my first call is to the Secretary of State, because I bet they can try to rouse that up for us, because it's a good idea. I'd like to know that as well.
Thank you.
Next on the list is Representative Warner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Leader Lambert, for bringing the bill. Will this bill affect cities? Right now, some of our cities are holding elections in the spring, and curious if this would affect our cities.
Leader Lamberth.
No, I think there's another piece of legislation out there that deals with the timing of cities, and there's a lot of cities that have shifted to the November election. Currently, municipal elections are nonpartisan, and so your school board, your county commission, obviously state and federal are partisan elections if your local party on either, any of the parties have called for a primary, but those municipal elections are not. So most of them, well, I shouldn't say most. It's kind of a spread on when they're held, and currently that's kind of all over the place. This doesn't touch those municipal elections. It just deals with the counties.
Representative Warner.
Thank you, Leader, and thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I have nobody else on the list. The question has been called. We're ready to vote on House Joint Resolution 0729. Moving on to Judiciary. All those in favor, please vote yes on the board or no on the board. Madam Clerk, open the board for voting. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, you'll close the board and announce the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 19 ayes and 1 present not voting.
Bill moves on to Judiciary. Item number 2, House Bill 1501 by Leader Lamberth. Got a proper motion and second. I do see we have an amendment. Leader Lamberth, can you please give us your drafting code?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. The amendment that was adopted in sub should be the only amendment. It's 012176.
Leader Lamberth, would you like us to place the amendment on the bill for discussion?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Without objection, we'll go ahead and vote on the amendment going on to House Bill 1501. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Your bill is now amended. You're recognized on your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, another bill, very straightforward. This comes directly from one of my cities. REITs are entities that many times will own real estate or property, and by definition, it shields the ownership of that. And we're not piercing that. We're not messing with that. We're not trying to figure out who owns these, but there's got to be somebody they can call, especially if they own 10 or more. And it would take a city adopting this by 2/3 majority. And it only affects those counties, I believe, that fall within the Universal Residential Landlord Tenant Act, those counties. But if they were to adopt it by 2/3, then at the very least, if a REIT owns more than 10 properties, they would have to put an agent's name, telephone number, and physical address to just send something to if the grass got too tall or there's an issue in the neighborhood that the city has to alert people to. Right now, because of the nature of REITs, there's no way for them to actually know who to contact. Doesn't have to be the person that's the registered agent, which a foreign company or an outside state company already has to do with the Secretary of State. It can be anybody they want it to be. It's just got to be a name, a number, and an address where they can contact somebody. That's what the bill does, Mr. Chairman.
You've heard the explanation of the sponsor. Does anybody have any questions for the sponsor? Representative Butler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Leader, I think I asked this in subcommittee, and I just want to get this on the record. This is not creating any kind of registry for real estate. It's not doing any of that. You hear those rumors out there, and I know you answered that question previously. Just want to get that on the record. This is simply for REITs and REITs only.
Leader
Thank you, Mr.
Lambert.
Chairman.
Yes, sir, absolutely. And thank you for asking that. This stays completely away from all that. This is not some sort of registry. I don't care about, landlord and tenant and agreements and contracts and who has ownership interests. Like, we're not even diving into that. It is literally, one of my mayors said, look, we are starting to see REITs own multiple properties in our city, and we don't have anybody to call. And they've tried to go look, and there's some advocates that have tried to work on this bill and said, well, if you go to this place over here and this website over here, then you can find something. But quite frankly, a lot of these cities just don't have the time and ability to kind of hunt down that rabbit trail. It's not that big a deal to just say, look, if you're a REIT and you got 10 or more properties here, it doesn't cost you anything. There's no fee for this or anything else. Just who should we call if there's a problem? And that's it. They just got to make sure they've got a name, phone number, and address.
Representative Butler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So it's no different than a registered agent for a S corporation or a C corporation or anything else.
Leader Lambert.
Extraordinarily similar to that, just at the local level.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Next on my list is Representative Chisholm.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I really hate to say this on a live mic, but that's a pretty good bill, and I intend on voting for it. So, because in some of our cities, we have a lot of blight, and there's no one to contact about taking care of those properties. So, again, thank you for the bill.
I see no one. We have completed our list, so without objection, we'll go ahead and vote on House Bill 1501, moving on to calendar and rules. Madam Clerk, you'll open the board for voting. If you're in favor, vote yes. If you're opposed, no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, you'll close the board and announce the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 20 ayes and 0 noes.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I sure wish you'd liked it, but I appreciate everybody else supported.
Bill moves on to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee.
I need to quit reading my stuff and pay attention, right? House Bill 1481, item number 3, House Bill 1481. I think he had to present a bill in another committee, so we will go ahead and move to item 4. We'll move to item number 5, House Bill 1553 by Representative Lynn. She here? Without objection, we'll roll this bill 1 week. Item number 6, House Bill 1380. Sponsor is Representative Harris. He has asked that this bill be rolled a week. That uses his 3 rolls. So without objection, I'll send this bill to special calendar to be printed with the final calendar. Item number 7, I think he's in another committee as well. We'll jump to item 8. Item number 8, House Bill 1488 by Chairman Moon. Got a proper motion in second. Chairman Moon, you're recognized on House Bill 1488.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill requires the county legislative body to adopt local rules within 90 days after they're seated. Additionally, they do it by majority vote in that 90-day window. Additionally, thereafter, if they change the rules, it requires a 2/3 vote. It also specifies that the latest edition of Robert's Rules of Order will be the parliamentary authority for that commission. And Mr. Chairman, that's what the bill does.
You've heard the explanation of the sponsor. Does anyone have any questions? Representative Powell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And sponsor, sorry I didn't get a chance to speak to you about this beforehand. Can you speak to is there a problem this is trying to solve, or what sort of situations has arisen as a result of then creating the need to bring this?
Well, as you know,
Chairman Moon?
thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you know, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. And sometimes that leads to chaos. Currently, I know of one county commission that requires a 100% vote of all members to change their rules. So what this would do, this would give a new legislative body the chance to look at their rules for 90 days, either adopt what they have currently, because the existing rules become the temporary rules. It's pretty much what we do in the General Assembly, with the exception of the parliamentary authority. But there are county legislative bodies out there that only operate without rules or parliamentary authority. Then you're operating on custom and precedent. And that can get expensive if you go to court.
Representative Powell, do you have a follow-up? Any other questions for Chairman Moon? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on House Bill 1488, moving on to calendar and rules. Madam Clerk, go ahead and open the board for voting. In favor, please vote yes. Opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, you'll close the board and announce the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 22 ayes and 0 noes.
Bill moves on to calendar and rules.
Item number 7.
Okay. We're going to jump back to item number 7 now. This is House Bill 1478 by Representative Hale. We've got a proper motion and Representative Hale, you are recognized on your bill, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 1478 was brought to me by the Comptroller's Office. This bill makes government work better by confirming that work papers created by a newly titled division in the Comptroller's Office remain confidential. Basically, what the Comptroller's Office did, they created a new division, and all this is saying is in that new division that information that was previously protected information remains confidential. And some of the examples of this is internal operational processes of the healthcare provider, reports submitted by the healthcare providers for supplemental payments, contracts with individual healthcare providers, managed care organizations, or vendors. So basically, all it's saying is what was protected previously is still protected now.
You've heard the explanation of the sponsor. Any questions for the sponsor on House Bill 1478? Seeing none, looks like we're ready to vote. All those in favor of House Bill 1478, moving on to government operations, please vote aye on the board or against nay. Madam Clerk, open the board for voting. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, close the board and announce the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 21 ayes and 1 present not voting.
Bill moves on to government operations.
Thank you, Committee and Chair.
Item number 3.
Okay, let's jump back to item number 3 on today's agenda. This is House Bill 1481 by Chairman Bosso. Got a proper motion and second. Chairman Bosso, you are recognized on your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, members of the committee. House Bill 1481 is a bill that does something that many of us probably already thought was the case. You know, in our Tennessee Blue Book, we recognize the second Sunday in May as Mother's Day, but we don't actually recognize Father's Day in our Tennessee Blue Book yet. And what this bill would do would be to put into the Tennessee Blue Book the third Sunday in June as a day of special observance for Father's Day in the state of Tennessee.
Members, you've heard the explanation of the sponsor on House Bill 1481. Is there any questions? Representative Powell, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sponsor, a couple questions and just things I had some issues with. And just as reference, I'm sure not the only person on this committee or up here, but that was raised actually by just a mom. When I was 5, I lost my father, and my mom had to raise me. I'm grateful to be a father to this day myself. I've got a 15-year-old daughter, Sophie, and a 12-year-old son, Hawks. But I guess with the whereas clause is the only thing that throw me off here. When we're talking about Tennessee fathers are the leaders of our families and the protectors of our safety and security, actually the leader of my family was my mom. And so could you speak to why these whereas clauses were included? I mean, I can go through a couple others that have when we talk about a nuclear family. But there are just some things in these whereas clauses that give me pause. Again, have no objection to celebrating Father's Day. It's just the whereas clauses that give me pause.
Chairman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Powell, if I recall correctly, I drew this language from the presidential proclamation for Father's Day from 2025. And I certainly appreciate and love hearing about your experience growing up with it with a mother, and there was no intent in any way to diminish the role that mothers play in the formation and the leadership and the development of the family. That role is indispensable. But that's where the language came from, and that's what I was focused on in putting it together. And I do not believe that if this bill is passed and codified, that the recitals will be in the code. It'll simply be the part that is on the second page of the bill, beginning with "be it enacted." So I apologize if to some degree these recitals have offended you or anyone else, but there was no offense intended, and they will not be part of our official Tennessee code if this is adopted.
Representative Powell.
Yeah, and I guess to the sponsor, I just asked for you to consider that because, again, I'm blessed to be a father, appreciate Father's Day, and I was lucky to have other, father paternal figures in my life, but definitely want to make sure that we are not in any way overstating the impact that mothers also have in our life. So I just would appreciate your consideration on that, but I'm at the will defer to the committee on this, but appreciate that. And no personal offense at all. Just wanted to say that.
Chairman Rudd, you're recognized.
Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you for running this. I had no idea. I knew it was a national holiday. I didn't realize the states had adopted Mother and not Father's Day. So I'm very appreciative to pointing that out. I was like confused. Are we going to a different date than national? And then you explained that we didn't ever recognize it in Tennessee. So I appreciate you for bringing it, making me aware of that. And I lost my father in '84 to cancer, but I was very fond, and he was always very loyal and good to me. And I want to, again, just thank you for bringing that and making us aware of this situation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Representative Salinas.
Thank you, Chairman. I agree with Representative Powell. I am all for celebrating fathers. In my family, I'm very lucky because some of my siblings, the same thing happened as Representative Powell's family. My dad passed away when I was 9, so I got to meet my father, and I got to see how great it is to have a dad. And I want to celebrate all the dads that are part of Tennessee. But I really do have a problem with the way some of these whereases are written, because my little brother, Danny Thomas, wasn't born when my dad passed away before he was born. So he never got to meet his dad. And my other brother was 1 year old. So he has a picture, and that's it. And he has lived all his life not knowing, just through stories of us, and he still holds to that picture. And Father's Day is one of the hardest days that they have. And I think that there's a way of celebrating the fathers and everything that they bring, because they are an important part of families, without making kids like my little brother feel bad. And I think that some of the whereases do that.
Representative Powers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I want to thank the sponsor for bringing this forward. I just wanted to be the first to wish you a happy Father's Day this year. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman Howell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move previous question.
Previous question's been called. We are now ready to vote on House Bill 1481, moving on to calendar and rules. If you're in favor, please vote yes. If you're opposed, please vote no. Madam Clerk, you will open the board for voting. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, you will close the board and announce the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 19 ayes and 2 present not voting.
Bill moves on to calendar and rules. Let's go ahead and go to item number 4, Chairman Bolso is also carrying this. This is Senate Joint Resolution 0007. Got a proper motion and second. Chairman Bolso, you're recognized on your Senate Joint Resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, this joint resolution would designate February the 2nd of 2025, which obviously is now passed, and the first Sunday in every February moving forward as Four Chaplains Day. And this would be done to honor those four chaplains who lost their lives in the Dorchester tragedy, which is one of the worst maritime disasters of World War II, which many of you may be familiar with. There were four chaplains who were on this ocean liner, civilian ocean liner that was converted to military transport, and a German U-boat went ahead and sent a torpedo and sunk it. And there were, I think, more than 700 armed services personnel on board at the time. And these four chaplains were organizing everyone getting into boats and getting life preservers. And they ultimately took life preservers off their own necks and put them on other soldiers. And they perished that day in February when this boat sunk. And so what we've got here from the Senate is a joint resolution to designate the first Sunday in February as Four Chaplains Day as a special day of observance on our Tennessee state calendar.
You've heard the explanation of the sponsor. Are there any questions for the sponsor? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on Senate Joint Resolution 0007. Moving on to calendar and rules. All those in favor, please vote yes. Those opposed, vote no. Madam Clerk, you will open the board for voting. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, close the board and announce the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 21 ayes and 0 noes.
Bill moves on to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee.
Item number 9 on today's agenda, House Bill 1489 by Chairman Moon. Motion. Got a proper motion and second. Chairman Moon, you're recognized on your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This legislation adds the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation and sworn deputies of sheriff's departments, arson investigators under the presumptive cancers that are set forth in the Berry-Brady Act.
Members, you've heard the explanation by the sponsor. Are there any questions for the sponsor? Chairman Rudd, you're recognized.
Motion.
Previous question's been called. All those in favor of sending House Bill 1489 on to calendar and rules, please vote yes on the board or no on the board. Madam Clerk, please open the board for voting. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, close the board and announce the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 21 ayes and 0 noes.
Bill moves on to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members.
Item number 10, House Bill 1496 by Chairman Moon. Motion. Got a proper motion and second. Chairman Moon, you're recognized on your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill's from the Secretary of State. As you know, the General Assembly mandated that Secretary of State shall compile and publish the open appointments. And we received that, I believe, in November, December. And what this bill does is says that the home addresses and phone numbers of those members serving on those agency boards and commission will be confidential. And that's what the bill does, Mr. Chairman.
You've heard the explanation of the sponsor. Are there any questions for the sponsor? Seeing none, I think we're ready to vote. All those in favor of House Bill 1496 moving on to government operations, please vote yes on the board or no on the board. Madam Clerk, open the board for voting. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, close the board and announce the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 22 ayes and 0 noes.
Bill moves on to government operations. Item number 11, House Bill 1516 by Chairman Moon. Proper motion and second. Chairman Moon, you're recognized on House Bill 1516.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill comes from the comptroller. Currently in our state, we have 15 municipalities that do not have a current budget. This bill would fix that and address this issue. Basically, a decade ago, this action was taken where counties were involved. Since the adoption of similar bill text, there's a 100% success rate in counties adopting a budget timely. What this bill does is on the first day of the fiscal year, if the municipality doesn't have an adopted budget, then they will operate on the previous year's budget for 60 days. At the end of the 60 days, they can apply to the comptroller for another 1-month extension. If there's an LEA involved, then they will operate with the same LEA budget as they had in the previous year, and they can do that up to 3 years. And at the end of 3 years, there'll be an automatic increase of 3%. But during that time, if the municipality has an LEA, they must fund maintenance of effort and TISA. So that's basically what the bill does, Mr. Chairman.
You've heard the explanation of the sponsor. Is there any questions for the sponsor? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on House Bill 1516, moving on to Finance, Ways and Means. If you're in favor, please vote yes on the board. If you're opposed, no. Madam Clerk, you will open the board for voting. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, close the board and announce the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 21 ayes and 0 noes.
House Bill 1516 moves on to Finance, Ways and Means.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members.
Chairman Rudd, you're recognized.
Chairman Crawford, due to the impact that he's had on the committee and today, should we, can I make a motion to rename the State and Local Government Committee to the Jerome Moon Committee?
Objection. Okay, that completes our agenda for today. We do have a presentation from the University of Tennessee Institute of Public Service. I'm going to have these guys come up and you go ahead and give us your name, who you're with, and your guest that you have with you. And when we complete this, I just want everybody to know, I think the University of Tennessee has some, like the PowerPoint to this and some data that I cannot allow to be passed out to the members. But if you would like to have one of those, please see one of these 3 individuals and they'll take good care of you. Without objection, we're going to go out of session to hear from the University of Tennessee. Out of session, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman Crawford. It's a delight to be with you. I'm Herb Bird. I'm the Vice President at the Institute for Public Service. We're very grateful for this time that you've granted us today. And we have a couple of programs I thought it would be helpful for you to hear directly from our executive directors because they're fairly new in our organization. And I have with me Dr. Jennifer Tourville, who is the Director of the Substance Misuse and Addiction Resource for Tennessee, SMART, and also our Executive Director of the Center for Local Planning, which is a new agency that you helped fund in the Institute for Public Service in the last budget. So thank you for the time today. We're grateful to be with you. And I want to cover just a few things with you today, but I'm going to talk about kind of one kind of thing we've done over the last year, and then something coming up that you can look forward to in some of the programming that we've done at the Institute for Public Service. We're grateful for the partnership that we have with you and for our place in the University of Tennessee and the opportunity you give us to serve all the way across the state. We are a statewide outreach part of the university. I report directly to President Boyd and we're very much engaged helping communities across the state. Probably by now you may have received from one of our team a packet of materials, and in that packet is a fact sheet I hope is familiar to you because it talks about some of the impact that we've had in your district over the last year. Also shows some statewide impact. And one thing we're proud of at the University of Tennessee Institute for Public Service is reporting customer reported economic impact. In other words, the people we work with tell us how much money we made them, saved them, jobs created, all those kinds of things. And for last year, we had over $2.7 billion of economic impact. And to put that in a little more perspective, we get around 28 or $29 million of state funding for our agencies for a total budget of about $49 million right now. But I'd take an investment going from that to $2.7 billion every day. So we're grateful for the chance that we have to make that impact. So I want to run through each of our agencies very quickly and tell you some things that are going on. I know that you've heard all over the state that the importance of AI is creeping into about everywhere. Our Center for Industrial Services works with all of our manufacturers and cities and towns and counties across the state in a number of different programs. But last year, they started delivering an artificial intelligence course for manufacturers to help them be able to implement the technology they need to help make them more efficient and effective in production, more profitable in the things that they're doing, moving toward that smart manufacturing across the state. And they're even going to ramp that up some more in 2026 as they offer some new programming. What we did last year was in partnership with the Tennessee Chamber of Commerce and Industry, which is a great partnership in reaching our state's manufacturers. I'm going to quit talking for just a second and let our new director of the Center for Local Planning tell you about some of the things that they have done and are ramping up and what you can expect to see from them over the next year.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, Mr. Chairman, for having us. My name is Josh Sudduth. I'm the Executive Director for the Center for Local Planning at the Institute for Public Service. As Dr. Bird said, it's the newest agency within the Institute for Public Service. As we all know, in recent years, the state of Tennessee has really emerged as a destination of choice for people and businesses across the nation and the world. The question is, how do you preserve that momentum while maintaining the things that have brought those people to our state to begin with, the character of our state? So I feel like my office can play a central role, will play a central role in doing that. And I do believe in successfully doing so, we're going to need to balance the priorities of rural preservation with housing attainability and private property rights. And so we'll be working with local governments to balance those three things. That's easier said than done. It's something I've had some success with in my career, and I look forward to doing it at the state level. In order to do that, we'll be providing technical assistance to the local governments in terms of their planning and zoning regulations, whether those regulations they have on the books now or regulations we'll help them with in the future. Mapping, geographic information systems, and that kind of thing, helping cities with that. There's a huge need for that across the state. And also compliance with the requirements of this body, of the General Assembly, whether those are new requirements that are coming down as part of the legislative process or things that are on the books. We'll be helping our local governments to comply with all of those. And I look forward to being at your service and working with you all in the future. Thank y'all for having us.
So Josh has a big task. We've charged him with ensuring that the growth we have across the state is smart growth and does the things that we want it to do as we grow in population and other things. Our next agency that I want to talk about is CTAS. CTAS last year implemented a brand new program to help counties manage their solid waste more effectively. So they launched a solid waste certificate program, and we're proud of the work that they're doing there. As all of you are well aware, this year is an election year. And almost every election at the county level, we turn over about 45% of our county elected officials. So we're ramping up for another big training program at the end of August that we call COOP, County Officials Orientation Program. And so we're going to do that as well as the new sheriff's school for new sheriffs to be sure that they're able to jump in and hit the ground running in their newly elected office. I also want to talk about our Law Enforcement Innovation Center. Many of you know Rick Scarborough, one of your colleagues, has been out of sorts a little bit here in the last little bit with some surgeries, but LEIC is doing some great things. And one of the things that they did that was brand new last year was a training program to help with effective policing and dealing with autistic individuals. There are some special skills that law enforcement officers need to know, some training that helps them in dealing with folks with autism in some difficult and challenging circumstances. But one thing we're looking forward to this year is Rick's going to start an executive leadership program for law enforcement officers. And our goal is to be the destination for executive leadership for law enforcement agencies all over the country. Next on the list is MTAS. Our Municipal Technical Advisory Service has been engaged over the last year with Metro Nashville in helping them evaluate their equipment replacement. And they've developed a program there that put in place systems and metrics so that they can evaluate their equipment needs and be able to replace vehicles and those things moving forward. They also work to help them keep a capital equipment replacement program in place that will help them sustain that replacement. They're also launching a new leadership program that they're calling Pulse for the upper level of municipal leaders across the state, and we look forward to good things from that. Our NAEFI Center for Effective Leadership is one that many of you have engaged in programs with over the years. They do a national certification program called the Certified Public Manager Program. Just in the last few weeks, we graduated 104 new certified public managers. They do a capstone project, and most of these folks are in state departments, and they generated $228 million in economic impact as a part of that program. And something, I see several faces in here who have, those of you that have been through the Tennessee Legislative Leaders Academy. We do that in concert with the Baker School at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, and we're ramping up, getting ready for elections to take place. And for those new colleagues you'll have coming in next session, we're getting ready to do that orientation program at the NAEFI Center. The Tennessee Language Center is another of our agencies. And at TLC, one thing they did this last year is something that's pretty tough to do, and that's a simultaneous interpreter training. This allows us to do things like translation at big conferences, trade shows, and other things like that, and ensure that participants that come to these things in our state are able to understand the language and have the language services that they need. And on that AI theme, the Tennessee Language Center is ramping up to include AI as part of their language training services, where they teach world languages. One of the challenges in language learning is being able to converse with someone in that language that's foreign to you. And through AI, we can give that conversant and immersive language learning experience where we are. And last but not least, our SMART program. And we have with us today Dr. Jennifer Tourville that will talk about some of the things they have going on.
Hi, thanks for having us today. At SMART, we work to assist the state with overcoming the opioid crisis. We were one of the hardest hit states in the nation. So we do all things addiction related. In 2025, we became the official partner of the Tennessee State Opioid Abatement Council to provide technical assistance to all the county governments that are receiving opioid settlement dollars. So there's about $1.2 billion coming into the state of Tennessee, and a large portion of that is going down to the local level. So we have worked in the past year with 87 out of the 95 counties to help them appropriately spend that money so that it has positive impacts in their communities. For 2026, we are trying to figure out how to get people that are coming out of addiction back into the workforce. So we have an Appalachian Regional Commission grant to do recovery to work needs assessments in 5 rural counties. We're working with workplaces as well as workforce agencies to develop plans to get people to work. So those are a couple of the programs that we're doing right now.
I should also say that behind me are most of our executive directors for each of these agencies you've heard from today, or someone standing in from them for them. And I'm sure they'd be happy to visit with you about any questions that you have or ideas you have for how we can better. I wanted to end with just a real quick note. When Fred Rogers died, y'all remember Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood on PBS. When he died, they found a handwritten note in his wallet that said, "Life is for service." And as I think about that, many of us in this room have taken on a lifelong mission of service to our state. I want to wind up by just thanking each of you for your partnership with us and for the service that you offer to our great state of Tennessee. And we appreciate very much the partnership you've afforded us to serve across the state and the opportunity that we have to do and work every day to help improve the lives of Tennesseans. Thank you. Thank you for what you do. Appreciate the time with you today. If you have any questions, we'd be glad to answer those.
Thank you, Vice President Byrd and your whole team. Very, very good information, and we appreciate y'all keeping us informed. Does any of the members have any questions? Without objection, then we'll go back into session. And does any of the members have any announcements or personal orders? Chairman Moon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before Dr. Byrd leaves, I want to say that his service to the state of Tennessee has been extraordinary, and thank you for that.
Representative Dixie.
I just wanted to give a shout out to Eric Amos. He made me look really good today. I had a meeting with some Chinese constituents, and he came in and he spoke Mandarin to them, and he helped lower the temperature and had a good conversation. So thank you so much. And he's my constituent.
Oh. Representative Martin, you're recognized.
I was just going to make a motion to adjourn.
You've heard the motion. Is there a second? We are adjourned.